Good morning, people. Today we will be going over command injection. That is all part of the junior penetration tested path in the introduction to web hacking room. I guess was one of the rooms in there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. It should take us about 20 minutes or less. I'm not gonna lie, it took me more than 30 minutes the first time I did it. So don't get really caught up with the minutes here. Let's go ahead and start the attack box. You don't need the attack box right now, and obviously I'm gonna let it run. So I'm just gonna exit split view, exit this one out. It's gonna be a lot of reading, so I'm not gonna go and read word to word, but you can go ahead and pause the video at any time to catch up or read it. But for the most part, the whole point of the video would be to answer some of the questions. So if you get stuck, you can refer back to this video and answer those questions. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. What is a command injection? So we will be covering the web vulnerability that's command injection once we understand what is the vulnerability is and what risk it imposes on application. Okay. There's some of the things that will be covered. So first, we have to understand what command injection is. Command injection is the abuse of an application's behavior to execute commands on the operating system using the same privileges that the application on the device is running with. So, for example, achieving command injection on a web server running as the username Joe will execute commands under this Joe user and therefore obtain any permissions that Joe has. So if anybody just do any command injection using my credentials or using my privilege, then they can only use that like Johnny Pentester's privilege, but not anybody else's, unless they do pivoting from there and try to get a root access. So command injection is also known as remote code execution, or RCE, because of the ability to remotely execute code within the application. So these vulnerabilities are often most lucrative to an attacker because it means the attacker can directly interact with the vulnerable system, which is good. For example, we would use who am I to get the application is who's running the application. Command injection is one of the top 10 vulnerabilities. Make sure you check out the OWASP framework. Cross-site scripting. All those vulnerabilities should be the top 10 last time I checked. So discovering command injection. This vulnerability exists because applications often use function and programming languages such as PHP, Python, or Node.js to pass data and make system calls on the machine's operating system. Okay. So on this code snippet, and the application takes data that a user enters in an input field named title. Input field named title. So that's to search a directory for a song title. Let's break this down. As you can see here, it will use this title right here to look for the actual name of the song in the song title.txt file. And if it does exist, the requested song would appear. If not, then it will say, whatever the request title does not exist, and you will get that return. So the application kind of explains what it is right here. So the Flask package is used to set up a web server. This is for actually Python. The Flask package is used to set up a web server right here. And that function uses the subprocess package to execute the command on the device. We use a route on the web server that will execute whatever is provided. For example, to execute who am I, you will need to visit Flask app that Tryhackme who am I. What variable stores the user's input in the PHP code snippet in this task, which is right here for the PHP, would be title. So we can go ahead and put title. What HTTP method is used to retrieve data submitted by user and PHP code snippet? Usually it's get PHP request. Post PHP request will be helpful to make edit to add to your request, but with the get you cannot make any edits. So you can just it is always good to just go on YouTube and watch get versus post request this. And that it has like a lot of they do have a lot of helpful materials there. Some things on my screen. If I wanted to execute the ID command in the Python code snippet, what route would I need to visit? So this would be the route that you need to go to. Okay. Exploiting command injection. You can often determine whether or not command injection may occur by the behaviors of an application, as you will come to see the practical session of this room. Okay. Some of the things that you could use to actually test would just be this, semicolon, the ampersand and double ampersand, the combined commands to execute both. You have to have some kind of Linux fundamentals, like Linux 1, 2, or 3, to kind of understand how these works. If you're not familiar with it. So command injection can be detected in mostly two ways. One would be the blind command injection. The other one is verbose command injection. For the blind one, there's no direct outputs from the application when testing the payload, so you have to do a trial and error. For the verbose, you'll get a direct feedback from the application once you have tasted a payload. For example, if you run Who Am I, then you're supposed to get who's running that application, or who's that person or the user is. For detecting blind command injections, there's no outputs visible, so it's not immediate noticeable. For example, a command is executed, but the web application outputs no message. So to test that, usually you would use ping and sleep commands, because as you put ping and delay by like 5 or 10 seconds. Or if you use sleep and delay it by 5 or 10 seconds, and before the command or the whatever code you put is executed, if it takes 5 or 10 seconds, then there is a possibility of your exploit or your code is working. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'll show you guys the next few minutes. So another method of detecting blind command injection is by forcing some output. This can be done using redirection operators. So if you put this, definitely use the Linux fundamental module. If you don't know what this does, we just make sure you know what this is. Use the Linux fundamental module. For example, we can tell the web application to execute commands such as Who Am I? Testing command injection this way is often complicated and requires a quite bit of experimentation, trial and error to test this. So detecting verbose command injection, you should be using ping or Who Am I as directly displayed on the web application. Some useful payloads would be for Linux, you use Who Am I, ls, ping, sleep, or netcat, nc. And you have the description here, so just make sure you are familiar with this. For Windows, you have the payload right here, Who Am I, dir. Dir is like ls, gives you list the directories, ping and timeout instead of sleep. So what payload would I use if I wanted to determine what the user application is running as? Obviously that would be Who Am I. What popular network tool would I use to test for blind command injection on the Linux machine? I would say ping, either ping or ping is good, or sleep, but sleep is usually for I thought sleep is for actually Windows. I guess it's for Linux too. What payload would I use to test the Windows machine for blind command injection, which should be timeout? And if it does timeout for 5 or 10 seconds, whatever you give the timeouts as, then you would kind of know um, would be susceptible for blind command injection. So, remediating command injection. Command injection can be prevented in a variety of ways. Everything from minimal use of potentially dangerous functions or libraries and programming languages to filtering input without relying on a user's input. So make sure you don't ever trust user's input, because as any attacker, pretending to be a regular user could put anything or any malicious code in the user input field. So make sure you do put sanitization, input sanitization, to filter the input. There are some ways of bypassing filters, but just make sure as a security or any programmer should be aware of those. So what is the term of the process of cleaning user input that is provided to an application? That it be sanitization. I have a terrible spelling, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy that right there. Boom. I mean, we do have it, but I'm just gonna, once it starts in like 20 seconds, I'm gonna refresh again. I should not have timed out, but you kind of see what framework they use, application framework they use here with the version. That's actually like a good way of like thinking as an attacker. What you would do is you click or copy on this and go in your Google and look for any vulnerabilities that this might have. Known vulnerabilities in NGINX 1.14. You actually do have it here. And then just follow some of them and read through it. These are some of the things that you can actually use from a given output. But obviously, we're not here for that right now. So let's go ahead and refresh. Hopefully, it would work. Come on. Yes. Oh, man. I actually had. This is crazy. I need a command injection, not the attack box. I don't need the attack box. Okay, this is what I'm looking for right here. Right. So right here, what I would do is, what are they asking? Find, if you stuck, wish explore some more complex payload. Find the contents of the flag located in home Tryhackme flag.txt. You can use a variety of payloads to achieve this. I recommend trying multiple. So use what user is application running as. To do that, you just run who am I. Obviously, if you just put who am I right here, it's not gonna execute. Your output would just be nothing. But if we do and who am I, or the ampersand who am I, and execute it, you will do get the output, which is www.data. So we go ahead and copy that, paste it right here, and see if it does run. Perfect. So what are the contents of the flag located in the home Tryhackme that flag txt? Just go ahead and copy that first. And for our we don't know, is it Linux or I don't know if it's a Linux or matter of fact, let's go ahead and find out if they actually do have anything in there. We don't get anything. So if you do put dir Tryhackme, then you do get a output. It will tell you exactly what they have in that Tryhackme. But we use ampersand and dir. If you do remember my last note, it says if you're using dir, that means it's a Windows. If it is Linux or any Unix system, it would be ls for to list what you have in that folder. But we did use dir for directory listing. So we do have flag.txt and flag.txt. That's SAVE. I wonder what they have here, but what we're looking for is this one right here. So let's go ahead and do that one more time. To actually list that out, you use cat to read it. So if you do execute it, then you will get the Tryhackme command injection complete. Let's go ahead and copy that. That would be the answer for this right here. But you know, knowing me, I am very matter of fact, do they have save? This is the second file. To Tryhackme command injection complete. Okay, the second file has both files. I'm very nosy. So we can go ahead and exit split view. We are done with this one. Last one would be the conclusion. Well done for making it to the end of this room. To recap, we have learned about the following elements of this command injection: how to discover the command injection vulnerability, which we did; how to test the exploit this vulnerability using the blind or verbose method, and then how to prevent this vulnerability by using, sanitization. To remediate, you put input sanitization, and then the last part is applying your learning by performing command injection in a practical application, which we just did. So once you are done with everything, you can just go ahead and terminate this machine, and you can complete this task, which we will be good. Congratulations, guys. I'll see you guys in the next room.